And so to prevent kids from going down the wrong road, how would you suggest parents kind of instill a kind of a healthy biblical understanding of human sexuality in their kids?
Yeah, we got to have lots of conversations like this, and especially as they get older. So when they're younger, we want to talk up marriage and sex. That marriage and sex, they're linked together, they belong together. We want to talk in this day and age. We want to talk about male and female and how good and wonderful it is to be a boy, how good and wonderful it is to be a girl, how boys and girls are alike, but they're different. One of the things we did at our table when our kids were little, I remember one night just saying, "Hey, what's something that's awesome about dad that mom doesn't have? And what's something awesome about mom that dad doesn't have?" So, like they're talking about my scruff. And so we can go from there and yeah, like one of my kids is like, "I love dad's scruff because I love putting my face next to his." And other kids are like, "I hate his scruff for that. It hurts. It hurts." I'm like, right. But what is my scruff? What does that tell you about what God is like? Oh, there's a part of God that's maybe a little rougher, that has a strength to him that wants to, throw you up in the air and then catch you. Right. And then what about mom? Like, well, and we could talk about, breastfeeding or mom's tenderness or her. And my wife is an incredible leader. So we get into some categories there where we certainly cross what would maybe be stereotypical gender lines. But we just want to begin like pumping our kids' creativity, their thoughtfulness about like how good it is to be a boy or girl. As they get older, we have to have honest, kind of transparent conversations about the reality that we're living in and how that, and actually, that happens when our kids are younger too. But in our family, we do a lot of conversations around media, music, movies, shows. We're looking for what's the counterfeit and what's the real. What's the real that's kind of mixed in with the counterfeit there? And I'll tell you, Jason, I've had conversations with my kids where I'm like angry about what we're watching, and they're pulling out some things in it that I'm like, I didn't see that. That was beautiful. I'll give you an example. And this was a sad example for me. It was a really hard conversation. Watching one of the shows we love, and in it there's a teen couple that gets pregnant, and the girl decides she's going to have an abortion, and so they go to Planned Parenthood, or the Hollywood version of Planned Parenthood, and the scene was done beautifully. I've got to be honest. They're in the waiting room. There's music. There was no dialogue. There's music. Close-ups of the kids' faces. Over the desk, and I don't know if this was real or not. I don't know if Planned Parenthood has it, but over the desk of this waiting room, it says something to the effect of, I can't remember what it was, but something like, we're here for you no matter what, something like that. Mm-hmm. And, but I don't even see that. All I see is I'm like, they're making this place look out to be like it's this beautiful environment. Like so I pause the show. I pause it while they're showing that picture above the screen. And I'm just like, kids, this organization is evil. Like this is fiction. You can't trust this. Well, that opened up all sorts of conversations with my kids, where my kids were talking to me about conversations they're having at school, including where they're feeling blindsided. Mom, Dad, you didn't tell us the good things that Planned Parenthood does. And I'm like, good things? What good things? But they're sharing what they're hearing at school from their friends about some things. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking that deep breath. And I'm feeling like I'm losing. I'm like, Lord, like they've already gotten to my kids. What do we do here? And then it's like the Holy Spirit just showed me the screen. And I look up the screen and it says, whatever it was, that line, like, we accept you no matter what. And I realized, right or wrong, true to life or not, twisted or not, my kids are hearing messages in this scene that are speaking to their heart about what they long for, a place that they're accepted even when they make mistakes, a place where they can go when they're in big trouble. Mm-hmm. And I don't want them to go to Planned Parenthood. I want them to come to me. Yeah. And so those are some of the difficult conversations we need to be in with our kids, where we're giving and taking. Like, I recognize there's beauty being told here. Let's parse out, let's pull some weeds out of this, because I think that this isn't the whole truth. Man, I'm in the weeds with my kids. My co-author's in the weeds with his kids. These are hard conversations, hard topography, but there's no place I'd rather be. And those conversations, whether they happen in our home or happen in their college dorm room when they leave home, like, I'd rather them have those conversations with us in our home, because at least then we can be in it with them. So that's some of what I'd say to that. There's a lot more, of course, but
No, it's great stuff. Just the presence of being with your kids to watch a movie, so these conversations can come up with in the first place. To
Yeah.
be so present with you, they can feel the scruff of your face. It's funny when you mentioned that. Same thing's going on in our house. My 8-year-old daughter loves, when I'm cleanly shaven, whereas my 6-year-old son Joseph, he said, "I love it when your face is spiky." And so
Yeah.
they're always going back and forth. Wait, oh, he's spiky. So I figured, enough is enough. So what I've started doing is I now shave half of my face. So right now I'm actually cleanly shaven on this half, and this half's got about 2 days of scruff going on. And then the kids love it. My daughter comes up, she's like, "Oh, it's perfect." And then Joseph comes up, starts kissing me, loves the spikes. And so
That is funny.
just
I thought I was going to say that as a joke. I was going to say you shave half your face. But I was kidding. But you were serious. That's
no, I've
fantastic.
literally been doing it the last month, and the kids absolutely love it. So it's like
That's
every other
fantastic.
shave, I just take half off, and they just love it to pieces. But it's true what you're saying. In terms of Planned Parenthood, there's so much in the optics there of we're here for you. We just want to support you. I mean, last week I had the blessing of going to a crisis pregnancy center here in Phoenix to see just the amazing work that they're doing with these young mothers and helping them. And they were telling me how one mom came recently. She went to Planned Parenthood, and she was like, I know I'm pregnant. I've missed a couple of, cycles. Can we just do an ultrasound? And they're like, no, we really don't need to do that. Here's how it's going to work. It's just going to be 3 days. We're going to give you these pills, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as they just refused her an ultrasound, she just knew something was way off. So she went down the street to this crisis pregnancy center, like, "Yep, we'll give you an ultrasound." And she was 18 weeks along.
Wow.
And once she saw the image of her baby, I mean, she just broke down to know that she was like in the mouth of the wolf, so to speak, and she was
Wow.
able to get out before it snapped down. And
Jeez.
just the sheer horror that she was so close to taking that life. And when I was there, they had a beautiful chapel. And in it, they had this beautiful picture of Mary pregnant with Jesus. And it was kind of tattered and didn't look real great. And they said, the story behind this? They said down the street used to be a Planned Parenthood that closed down. And when they closed down and they were taking the place apart, they said they actually found, when they were demolishing or whatever, underneath the floorboards of the abortion surgical room was this image upside down of, in the Catholic faith, it's called Our Lady of Guadalupe, underneath the floorboards of where the abortion procedure is performed. And we don't know any story behind it. We don't know if that was like some construction worker that wanted to plant a grenade underneath the abortion clinic so the thing kind of spiritually goes off and implodes, which it did and closed down, or if that's someone in the abortion industry kind of making a mockery of the gift of life and the incarnation. But just, it just sends chills, the diabolical nature of this and how they want the optics to be like, we're here for you to support you and give you choices and options and plan your parenthood. Parenthood is the last thing on earth they help you to plan. But again, back to the core, just the presence of being on the couch with your kids, watching what they're watching. Irreplaceable. We can set up every single filter and device, but if you're not there, not just quality time, once in a while, dude, quantity time, just be present. To me, I would say, and you'd probably agree, that's the number one thing the kids need.
It is. Like I said before, that technology is part of the problem, and not that technology is all bad. I don't mean that. We couldn't be doing this without technology today, but the solution is really relational, because the longing is relational. The sex at its core is relational, and there's something that's hardwired in our kids, it's hardwired into us. And so the best thing we can do with our kids is be relational. Now, there's lots of terrain there, and that's one of the reasons we wrote the book. We want parents to feel more comfortable having those conversations. We want parents to feel they're in the game. I think there have been some different resources over the years where it's kind of like, just, read this to your kid, show this to your kid. I work with adults all the time, and every single one of them dealing with sexual brokenness, when we start talking about their story, they express, they know, they long for connection with their parents. They wish that things had been different with their dad or with their mom. They wish their mom had said, or their dad had said, or their dad hadn't said. And so part of the reason we wrote this book is because we're convinced your kids don't need us, your kids need you. And we just want to help you be there for your kids in a greater way than maybe you feel like you're able to be right now. So
yeah. So as we wrap up, how can people get a hold of you, of the book, Treading Boldly Through a Pornographic World, how they can connect with your ministry, all the different work that you're doing, Josh?
Yeah, thanks, Jason. treadingboldly.com. You can find more about the book there. You can also just buy it on Amazon or Christian Books or Indie Books, wherever you buy your books. And you can learn more about our ministry at regenerationministries.org. Happy to have people check us out.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that little clip, but if you want to see the whole episode where this came from, just click the link here. And in the meantime, we want to invite you to help us share this message, and there's a couple things you can do real quick. Number one, if you like or comment or share this video, YouTube will actually show it to more people. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. We release videos every single day, and you'll be notified as soon as those come out. If you want to help us also to spread this message, you can support us at patreon.com/Jason Evert. That helps us to create these videos and show them to the whole world. God bless.